Hi there. This year, I'm aiming to write, illustrate, and publish my first of 4 books, design, record, and publish a podcast series, code and make available a popular app on Google Store and App Store, launch and run an Etsy shop, and also finally publish my first cookbook. I'm going to do all of this with the help of AI, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do this on your own. So come on over and follow the journey. Project 2023. Before we introduce Project 2023, we're going to have a little bit of fun. We're going to take the approach for this video with the same principles of how an AI or a machine learning problem is solved in real life. First, a machine learning problem. I'm going to simplify this. I'm going to simplify to you how an AI or an ML use case is solved for. Machine learning is nothing but teaching the computer how to use historical inputs and outputs to understand how they correlate with each other. Now the machine, having understood the correlation between these historical inputs and outputs, can have its own algorithm or an understanding and give you newer outputs for newer inputs. And that's the whole process in a nutshell. Let's just take a look at the steps here. You have your historical inputs and outputs. You then pick a model. A model is nothing but a process. You train the computer to use the process to correlate those inputs and outputs, and now you can have any new output for newer inputs. Let's lay this context into our video. Here we have generative AI and you has inputs. The outputs are the benefits of using generative AI for your hobbies. The process is going to be tool selection, what you're going to do, how you're going to get started. Training would be how do you train the AI to do work for your hobbies. And then finally, the result is your final output. Now, through this whole process, we'll talk through how this fits into this whole deal, how this relates to AI, and so on and so forth. So how did we get here? How did this all get started? Well, I've always been a serial starter, always full of enthusiasm for the different projects that come my way, full of ideas, and I get started on a number of things. But for some reason, I don't end up finishing a lot of these projects. It could be for many reasons. Some busy times at work, raising 2 little kids, they're a handful, and my ever-growing list of backlog TV shows to watch. Suffice to say that a lot of these projects have remained in limbo that I desperately want to complete a lot of them. Sometime after the new year, when I was researching some of the advancements in the generative AI field and also reflecting on some of these unfinished projects, a thought occurred to me. Why not use these exciting and amazing technologies to complete my creative dreams and complete my creative passions? With this new spark within me, I set out to craft a plan, one where each month I would target one hobby and complete all the projects that were pending using AI to assist me. So that's where this whole idea was born. 12 months, 12 different hobbies, the whole thing was set in motion. So exciting, right? So follow me and we'll see how I use different parts of AI and what AI I use to solve this. So back to our flow, let's understand our players. What is generative AI? I know I talked about this a little bit before. Generative AI is the latest tech trend that's sweeping the nation. You may know one of its more popular forms, ChatGPT. This technology is very impressive. Generative AI, put simply, refers to the field of artificial intelligence that can autonomously create original content. It can learn from large data sets and apply these learnings to generate new ideas with very little human intervention or no human intervention. But the important part is it's still with human suggestion, though. This new technology holds a lot of potential for organizations and individuals as it will allow for quicker iteration in areas such as product generation, image generation, and most importantly, content generation, which is a lot of what my hobbies are based out of. The possibilities are truly endless. Although catchphrases like machines that can think for themselves is very exaggerated, generative AI could have very real impact on our lives in the immediate future and also in the coming years. As evidenced by the fact that both Microsoft and Google are competing very hard in the space to have some mind space of everybody trying to use this technology. Now, let's talk about what are the benefits of using it in our hobbies. And that's the output that we're looking for, right? So, with following through on my hobbies, like take that as an example, I found getting started or sometimes restarting them was my biggest problem. This is not something new and is, in fact, a very essential part in the process of creating anything. John Saddington describes this in great detail in The Emotional Journey of Creating Anything Great. In it, they discuss a period of reduced enthusiasm called the dark swamp of despair. It is a feeling both the person creating and the object being created share, a sort of muck that they're both stuck in. I was stuck in here and wanted a way to get out of it. I was looking for ways, processes, tools to get out of this and kind of get going. Enter generative AI. By using the right generative AI tool, I was able to reduce tedious and long tasks to short bursts of revisions. I was able to reduce the time it took to complete certain tasks because I now had a tool or a buddy that can reinforce my ideas and even sometimes riff off them, like play off them. For example, let's take something logistical like working on my website and building it up. When I'm stuck at a problem, like how to do CSS to a frame or some simple formatting, previously I used to Google the answer. Now I have AI Copilot my development with me. So the process to even getting to that place where I'm stuck on a problem is few and far in between. So essentially, it's a lot more efficient and a lot faster to get to the answers you want. So how do I get started, or how do you get started with generative AI for my hobbies and your hobbies? So the first thing that you would want to do is writing down on paper everything that you want to accomplish. What do you want to accomplish? Writing it down is a very good first step. Once you have that, you will be able to figure out what and how you want to go about doing that. Let's go back to my examples and my hobbies. One of the hobbies that I desperately wanted to do for a long time is to record a podcast, do the whole deal, record it, revise it, publish it. I did not know anything or any way how to go about this. Then I took my time, learned all the steps that are involved in it. And now that I had the steps, I could think about tools that I could use in some of these steps. For example, in this situation for the podcast, I found a generative AI tool that can create AI voice. And that was a great tool for me to get started, put stuff into play, and get it down the line in a very fast and efficient way. So once you find these tools and you use them, you compare them, and you go about putting them to use, the pathway becomes clearer and clearer. Every step of the way, you discover the right way to do things. You discover how to avoid doing the wrong things. And once you do it one or two times, you kind of become an expert and are able to repeatedly do it multiple times, with producing good quality outputs. And you do it enough times, you can obviously make a tutorial like this and teach others and get them to do it in a faster rate. So how do I train generative AI to help with my hobbies? At the outset, none of these tools really know what you want. They also don't know where to start. This is where you bring in the human element into the picture. A generative AI tool like ChatGPT is like an expensive sports car. Sure, it can go fast and make quick turns, but it still needs the driver to pilot it and guide it. Here's where the most inconsistent part of these tools comes into picture. It is inconsistent results. The most important part of these tools is prompting. And prompting is a very key part into producing quality and consistent outputs and results. So think of prompting as human suggestions for how the AI needs to keep itself and set boundaries on what to give you, what not to give you. And prompting is and training is not just for the computer, it is for you too. Think of it this way: when you're doing prompt generation, all you're doing is trying to train your mind to think how the AI thinks. So you set yourself boundaries, you understand the boundaries of what the AI can do, what the AI can't do, and you kind of supplement AI and yourself. In conclusion, now that we've set ourselves up nicely for what's to come, follow me on this exciting journey while I document each month's journey in a video essay and also write it down in a long form blog post. And I will take that opportunity to talk about what AI generative tools that I've used in that month, how they work. I will compare some of the best options out there, my experience in using them, and also provide a good tutorial on how you can do it all on your own. I found it hard when I started this journey, but I want to make it easy for people. I will also be taking and talking about some of the pitfalls and gotchas to avoid, and also addressing some of the controversial topics in generative AI field, like plagiarism, fair use policy, licensing, and so on and so forth. Follow my channel for more of these videos. Lastly, follow my first video for the month of January, where I wrote, illustrated, and published 3 uniquely awesome children's books, all with the help of AI. I